Hey, I'm Pants.
Hey, I'm Scene.
And this is the Breeze in the Trees Network.
It feel good to actually speak about this, because at least somebody else noticed that what's going on of another color.
Yeah.
I want to bring one thing up.
Okay, bring it up. Yes.
Okay, before anything. What about it was a black cop that killed the unarmed white boy? What would be that black cop outcome? Will it be the same as a white cop killing a black man? What would be that outcome? Because we haven't had that yet. If you think about it.
I would assume that this has to have happened somewhere.
It had to happen before.
Had to have happened somewhere. And I'm sure, in some of these cases, even with Michael Brown, he committed a crime. Unfortunately, I was skeptical about it at first, but unfortunately, it looks like he stole the cigars. Right?
Okay.
Whatever. A kid steals cigars from a store and you shoot him dead. Two and two doesn't add together. They got a bunch of publicity because of the racial factor. If the tables were turned,
I was thinking about that.
It would probably stay more local. Because it's not a sexy story. I mean, you want to pick stories that people are going to have strong emotional reactions to. For that sake, there's no fault in blaming the popular media and how they show the stories that they do, how they bring that to the people. Because that delivery makes the riots and the emotions and everything kick up even more.
What would be the outcome?
What would be the outcome?
And that black cop probably get some life sentences thrown at him.
Maybe not life sentences right now because of
what's going on.
Because there's a lot going on right now. I wouldn't imagine he'd get a life sentence because they'd want to make sure that court case couldn't be used to allow other cops who we have controversy with. Everything has to pretty much go the same way.
Yeah. There's some people in jail that shouldn't even be in jail. What are we doing about that? We're not doing much about that.
Charge them $10 a day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. To keep them in a cage and feed them like animals.
Yeah, let's suppress them.
But it's not only blacks. There's whites. There's other people in there. So
it's important, folks. If you're gonna accuse people of doing crimes, that you get your stats right, because there's no particular race that statistically are more guilty or less guilty of being criminals. I mean, if you're in a black community, more of the crimes in the black community will be done by a black person because that's who lives there, right?
Yes, absolutely.
If you're in a white community, guarantee you, most of those crimes are going to be done by white folks. Guarantee it, probably the majority of them. And the same with if you're in Asian community, if you're in Native American community, it doesn't matter. There's people, whoever's there is who's going to be causing the crimes where that place is.
But sometimes people do branch out. Go to different towns.
Criminals branch out.
They branch out.
So there's a bunch of stories where it says #LiveWhileBlack, and they tell their story about being harassed by the cops just for being black. The story you're telling about getting pulled over by the cop and him asking your wife, it's like, we're going to the mall. It's like, that's what we're doing.
This is what we're doing today.
Yeah.
What are you doing today?
What are you doing? I was like, we're finding someone to try to arrest.
Exactly.
And then there's also the other side of it. So you got the #AliveWhileBlack, so that black Americans can go out and say, hey, listen, we're being harassed. And then there's #CrimingWhileWhite, where white Americans are coming out and saying, hey, we're getting away with murder. Not literally in most cases. Because these are people who, they recall when they were teenagers and they were out partying with their friends, drunk driving they shouldn't have been. And the cops pull them over and they say, we're just going home. My dad works at the hardware shop. And it's like, drive safe.
Slow it down,
drive safe, get home fast. Kind of contradictory though.
Yes.
Whereas if they would have been a black guy, they probably would have been in cuffs on the back of the cop car.
Like the Eric Bell's case. You know about Eric Bell?
Eric Bell?
Yes. The guy from Queens who was going to get married. He got murdered a day before he was getting married.
Oh, jeez.
Yes. At his bachelor party, he got murdered by cops. They opened fire on the vehicle and they killed him. Talking about they seen him reaching when they got to the car, there was not a weapon in the car. It was a couple of people in the car with him that got shot with him, but
was that the like high speed?
No, it was no high speed shooting. No, it was
Was there a gun?
No, there was nothing. That cop got acquitted. It's basically you gotta when you wake up, like I woke up this morning. Who say I'm guaranteed to see tomorrow? No guarantee.
Like I try not to be morbid, folks, but there's no guarantee.
There is no guarantee. It's a blessing to go to sleep and wake up to see your loved ones.
Oh yeah.
It's a blessing because there's some people who loved ones ain't coming back. They ain't got a chance to see their loved ones again.
If you had to switch the tables around, if Eric Gardner was death choking out a cop and killed the cop,
yes,
he'd be on death row right now, right? If you watch the videos, like, there's no reason to jump up and choke this guy out. He's talking to you. He's trying to say, stop harassing me. You keep coming by and harassing me. Why you gotta harass me? And he's talking like this, and a cop comes around behind him and jumps and chokes him out. He's not being violent. And that's the case over and over again.
Yes.
If the tables had been turned, though, Eric Gardner was certainly might be dead already. I mean, this happened back in what? August? Oversight. Like you were talking about earlier, why you putting a rookie cop into a scenario where you need someone with more experience.
Yes.
That's a matter of sometimes it's just desk work or talking to the people you're putting into positions, making sure that they're ready, making sure they're trained, making sure that they're emotionally or mentally stable enough for the position that they're being put into. And there's this whole racism inherent in the entire American system. And so since you have that there, you have to monitor your law enforcement. They're enforcing the law. They have all this authority. They can pretty much get away with murder.
Yes.
If they say it was in their own defense, I mean, that's all they need to say, right? I was scared. That's the defense with all of these cops getting away with stuff. We were scared for our lives. We had to kill them.
Yeah.
And certainly a couple of more recent cases are incredibly tragic, but the cops not getting away with murder yet. A lot of them are just on paid leave. They're getting paid to sit at home while all the court cases are.
And all these shootings, they are close-range shootings. They're not shooting them from far distance. They are like, so basically they must have been talking.
Well, with like the Michael Brown scenario, the last bullets that killed Michael Brown, he was 30 feet away from the cop.
Yeah.
So that was like he turned supposedly. Right. He turns around, faces the cop, and there is a video some construction workers got live of this happening. Where he's running this way, he turns, puts his hands up, or I'm off here. He's running that way, he turns, puts his hands up, and he's standing there with his hands up, and boom, 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 and then he falls to his knees and dies. 30 feet away. Why I wouldn't be threatened by a guy 30 feet away to the point of wanting to kill him. Or maybe I would have been. I haven't seen that scenario. I've been there with itchy trigger finger in that kind of scenario. So
once again, think about it. This cop was slapped in this neighborhood. He just was slapped in this neighborhood. He didn't know how to take a response to a quick chase.
Already, this neighborhood in Ferguson, they've had problems with racial profiling and problems with the cops in the past. When the riots initially started, after the scene had happened initially, they did have, the St. Louis County black officers come in and talk to the people and stuff and try to defuse the scenario. But it was like post-mortem. I mean, so we have to address inside how we deal with the police. Because we are civilians and not police officers, I would love if anyone out there involved in law enforcement has any comments or any feedback. If you feel it, I hope you don't feel like we're attacking law enforcement as a whole. There are many, many great, good-hearted cops out there. It's just
absolutely
when you're giving someone that much authority and that much responsibility, it's good to make sure they're the right people for the job. Right?
Absolutely.
So we're not trying to downplay any of the great benevolent cops out there. We're just trying to talk about oversight so that we can keep people who are going to abuse that power out of that position. Granted, we're talking largely about state Supreme Courts in most of these scenarios.
Absolutely.
Al Sharpton, and you know Al Sharpton.
Yes, I do.
Al Sharpton was talking about how the Eric Gardner case should have been taken out of New York State.
Yes.
Because the state judicial system is dependent on the city judicial and the local judicial systems for both for evidence. The police have to provide the evidence to them, and for police union donations and support when they're run for election. He said that whole case should have been handed to the feds right away. And in many of these cases, that probably could be the deciding factor. And when you're having, especially a high publicity case like this, but even on the lower publicity cases, you should get federal court involvement in there because they're immediately less biased towards the listener. Kudos out sharp.
Yes. There's no racism that should be going on. No, we ain't in a world of basically hate. You know what I mean? I want my daughter to grow up in the world where she can feel comfortable to talk to whoever she wants to, not just because of his color. Oh, her dad is black. My daughter is, you know what I mean? Like, basically, like, there should be no reason for her not to like black people. You know?
Sure. Yeah.
I want her to get along with everybody.
I would like to see this happen, okay? I'd like to see that everything that's going on now, and I mean, like, I turned on the news to get up to date. I didn't even need to switch off of one YouTube news channel because every single black kid killed by white cop story, one after another. I just sat there and watched the whole stream, and I was like, oh, okay, I got my facts up to date. I would really like to see we as Americans, as a human race, as a species, need to be working together, or we as Americans at least, need to be working together to fix the problem that's inherent in the judicial system and in our law enforcement. We just all need to work together.
Yes.
I mean, like,
everybody, can we just all get along?
Please.
Please?
Anyway, loving having you with us.
Yes,
Hope you enjoyed the conversation. Thanks for coming out, Black Man.
Thank you for having me on the network of Breeze in the Trees.
Absolutely.
Soon, you'll be on Seeing Sun TV too.
I think we're gonna have some fun, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
For now, I'm Pants.
I'm Seen.
Peace out, Fish
Peace
Drive.
out. Hey, that's not your saying.
Are we gonna just like stop calling each other by a race and start calling each other by a species? I mean, like, you're human, I'm human,
exactly.
We're all human here, right? I think.
Nobody's any animals.
Well, we don't have any animals on camera.
No. We got my boy Big Rob.
Big Rob, but he ain't no Bigfoot. He's a human too.
Yeah, he's a teddy bear, man. Big Rob.